Poor man fixed girl's skates. Without knowing she was the daughter of a wealthy single lawyer, David Johnson was walking through Central Park in Boston when he heard the desperate cries of a child. Unemployed for 3 months, he carried in his old backpack the only tools he had left after the workshop where he worked for 15 years closed its doors. "My skate broke," sobbed the blonde girl, about 7 years old, sitting on the sidewalk with tears streaming down her face. David stopped and saw that one of the wheels on the pink skate had come completely loose. The little girl held the toy as if it were the most precious thing in the world. "Can I take a look?" he asked, kneeling beside her. The girl looked at him with blue eyes full of hope. "Can you fix it?" "Let's see," said David, pulling a small screwdriver from his backpack. "What's your name?" "Emma. And yours?" "David. Are these skates new?" "They were a birthday gift yesterday. Mommy said they were the most expensive in the store." David examined the toy carefully. It was indeed a high-quality skate, but the screw had loosened during play. Nothing that couldn't be fixed in a few minutes. "It'll be as good as new," he assured, getting to work. Emma stopped crying and watched in fascination as David's skilled hands adjusted each piece. In just a few minutes, the skate was perfect again. "All done. Want to try it?" The girl put on the skate and took a few steps. A huge smile lit up her face. "Thank you so much, Uncle David." "You're welcome, sweetheart. Now be careful not to—" "Get away from my daughter!" The shrill voice made David turn around. An elegant woman was running toward them, wearing a flawless beige suit and carrying an expensive leather purse. Her brown hair was tied in a perfect bun, but her face showed pure terror. "Emma, come here now." "But Mommy, Uncle David fixed my skate," the girl protested. "I don't care, come here right now." Jennifer Williams grabbed her daughter by the arm and pulled her away from David, who was still kneeling on the ground with his tools in hand. "What were you doing with my daughter?" she snapped, her heart racing. "I was just fixing her skate, Mom. She was crying because it broke. I don't believe a word of it. Men like you always have ulterior motives when they approach children." David stood up slowly, putting his tools back in his backpack. His worn-out clothes contrasted sharply with Jennifer's elegance. "Mom, I understand your concern, but I have a daughter Emma's age. I just wanted to help." "Of course you do. That's always the excuse." Jennifer was trembling with anger and fear. "If I see you near my daughter again, I'll call security." "Mommy, please, he just helped me." Emma tried to pull away from her mother's grip. "Quiet, Emma. We're leaving now." Jennifer carried her daughter away, leaving David standing alone on the park path. Other people began to stare, whispering among themselves. He felt his face burn with shame and anger. "Mommy, I want my skates," Emma shouted, but her voice faded into the distance. David looked down and saw that one of the skates had been left behind in the rush. He picked it up and put it in his backpack, not quite knowing why. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now continuing. 3 days passed and David couldn't get the incident out of his mind. It wasn't the first time someone had judged him by his appearance, but the pain in that child's eyes troubled him deeply. He was sitting on the same park bench, watching other families play when he felt a small hand touch his shoulder. "Uncle David." He turned around and found Emma standing there alone, her face red from running so much. "Emma, what are you doing here? Where's your mom?" "I ran away from Mrs. Jenkins. She was looking at her phone and I took off running." "Who's Mrs. Jenkins?" "My babysitter. Mommy's at work." Emma sat beside him on the bench. "I came looking for you because I wanted my other skate." David took the pink skate from his backpack and handed it to the girl. "Here you go. But you shouldn't have run away, Emma. Your mom and babysitter must be worried." "Mommy always worries about everything. She won't let me play alone in the park, won't let me talk to strangers, won't let me do anything. She just wants to protect you. But you're not dangerous. You're nice." Emma put on the skate and stood up. "Look how good it fits." David smiled despite the complicated situation. "Emma, I need to take you back home. Your family must be frantic looking for you. Do you know where I live?" "No, but you can show me the way." The girl hesitated for a moment. Do you promise you won't leave when Mommy yells at you again? David felt his heart tighten. I promise I'll get you home safe. The walk to Emma's house revealed a completely different world. They left the public park and entered the most upscale neighborhood in Boston. The houses were enormous, with well-kept gardens and imported cars in the driveways. Emma chattered the whole way, talking about the private school she attended, her ballet and piano lessons, and how she missed her father, who had left when she was little. That's the house right there. Emma pointed to a modern mansion with an automatic gate. David took a deep breath before ringing the bell. He knew he was stepping into a difficult situation, but he couldn't just abandon a lost child. The gate opened, and Jennifer came running out, still wearing her office suit. Her eyes were red as if she'd been crying. Emma! She hugged her daughter desperately. Where were you? Mrs. Jenkins and I looked everywhere. I went to get my skate with Uncle David. Jennifer looked up and saw David standing outside the gate. Her expression instantly shifted from relief to fury. You, what did you do to my daughter? Ma'am, please, let me explain. I don't want an explanation. You kidnapped my daughter. Mommy, I ran away. He didn't do anything wrong. Jennifer wasn't listening. Her deepest fears had come true. In recent years, after the traumatic divorce, she had grown increasingly paranoid about Emma's safety. I'm calling the police right now. Please, Mom. David raised his hands in a peaceful gesture. Your daughter ran away from her babysitter and came to find me in the park because I had her skate. I just brought her back home. A middle-aged woman came running up the sidewalk. It was Denise, the babysitter, her face full of worry. Mrs. Jennifer, thank God I found Emma. She stopped when she saw David. She ran off while I was on a call. When I looked up, she wasn't in the playground anymore. Is that true, Denise? Jennifer asked, still suspicious. Yes, Mom, Emma ran off. I looked everywhere. Jennifer looked at David, then at Emma, then at Denise. The reality of the situation began to sink in. So, you really just brought her back? Yes, Mom. I have a daughter too. I know how terrifying it must be when a child goes missing. Jennifer's legs felt weak. The adrenaline was fading and she realized she'd misjudged the situation. I'm sorry, it's just... No need to explain, David said kindly. You were protecting your daughter. Any mother would do the same. But you helped me and I was awful to you. Mom, can I show you how good my skate looks now? Emma interrupted. Jennifer looked at her daughter's skates, which were perfectly fixed. Did he really fix them? Yes, and he didn't charge anything. At the store, they said if it broke, it would cost $100 to fix. Jennifer swallowed hard. $100 was probably a lot of money for that man, and he had fixed them for free. How can I repay you? You don't have to, ma'am. I'm just glad Emma is okay. David started to walk away, but Jennifer called out, Wait, what's your full name? David Johnson. I'm Jennifer Williams, an attorney. She extended her hand. Again, I'm sorry for the misunderstanding. David shook her hand briefly. It's all right, Mrs. Jennifer. Take good care of Emma. Bye, Uncle David, the girl shouted, waving. David waved back and walked away, heading back to the bus stop. Jennifer watched until he disappeared from sight, a strange feeling in her chest. That night, after Emma went to bed, Jennifer couldn't get David out of her mind. She had reacted with so much prejudice, judging him just by his appearance. As a lawyer, she should know better than anyone not to jump to conclusions. Denise, what did you think of that man today? Denise was washing the dinner dishes. He seemed like a good man, Mrs. Jennifer. Emma was really happy to see him. And from what she said, he was very kind to her at the park. But don't you think it's strange for a man alone to approach children? Oh, ma'am, the world is full of good people who still want to help others. He didn't look like a bad person. Jennifer sighed. Maybe Denise was right. Maybe she was being too paranoid. Did Emma say anything else about him? She mentioned he said he has a daughter her age, and that he looked really sad when you yelled at him. Guilt tightened Jennifer's heart. She had humiliated a man who was only trying to help. Denise, do you think I should try to find him to apologize properly? That's up to you, Mrs. Jennifer. But if it were me, I'd want to make things right. The next morning, Emma woke up talking about David. Mom, is Uncle David coming back to the park today? I don't know, sweetie. Why? I wanted to show him how good I am at skating now. Emma, we don't really know this man, but he's our friend. He fixed my skate and brought me home when I got lost. Jennifer realized her daughter had formed a bond with David, and for the first time in a long while, Emma had shown trust in a male figure. Since the messy divorce with Richard, Emma's father, the girl had become withdrawn and wary of men. Richard had left the family to be with a younger woman, leaving Emma with deep abandonment trauma. "Mom, why did Dad leave?" It was a question Emma often asked, and Jennifer never knew how to answer properly. "Sometimes adults make hard choices, sweetie. But Uncle David didn't seem like someone who would leave. He keeps his promises." Emma's innocent remark hit Jennifer like a punch to the gut. Her daughter was so starved for a positive father figure that she had latched onto a complete stranger in minutes. That afternoon, Jennifer decided to stop by the park on her way to the office. She told herself it was just to see if David was there and apologize properly. But deep down, she was curious about that man. The park was full of families enjoying the sunny evening. Jennifer walked along the paths but saw no sign of David. She was about to leave when a popcorn vendor approached her. "Are you looking for someone, ma'am?" "Actually, yes. A man who usually comes here. He wears a cap, carries an old backpack. Oh, Mr. David, he's such a good person. Always helps everyone around here." "Mr. David?" "That's what the kids call him. He fixes broken toys, helps push wheelchairs, carries baby strollers." The vendor smiled. "Haven't seen him in days. Must be looking for work." "He's unemployed?" "For a few months now. Worked at a shop that closed down. Poor thing, he's in a tough spot." Jennifer felt her stomach twist. She had judged David as a potential predator, when in reality he was known in the park as a kind and helpful person. "Do you know where I might find him?" "No, ma'am. But if I see him, I'll let him know you were looking." "No, no need." "Thank you." Jennifer went home with her thoughts in turmoil. Emma greeted her eagerly. "Did you see Uncle David, Mom?" "No, sweetheart. He wasn't there today." Emma looked visibly disappointed. "Do you think he didn't like me?" "Of course he liked you, Emma. Why would you think that?" "Because you were mad at him. I think he doesn't want to be our friend anymore." Jennifer hugged her daughter, weighed down by guilt. Her thoughtless actions had hurt not just David, but Emma too. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us who are just starting out. Now, continuing. The following days passed in a monotonous routine. Emma asked daily about David, and Jennifer began noticing how her daughter was growing melancholy. The girl had lost interest in her skates and spent more time sitting by the window, staring at the street as if waiting for someone. "Denise, Emma seems different, have you noticed?" "Yes, Mrs. Jennifer. She barely touched her food today, and last night she cried at bedtime." "Did she say why?" "She said she missed her friend from the park." Jennifer sighed. She had to do something. She couldn't let her daughter suffer because of her own prejudice. "Denise, tomorrow's Saturday. How about we take Emma to the park early in the morning?" "Good idea, ma'am. Maybe he'll be there." On Saturday morning, the three of them went to the park. Emma was excited for the first time in days, running ahead with her skates in hand. "Mom, let's look for Uncle David." They walked all over the park, but there was no sign of him. Emma grew more and more disheartened. "He's not here," she murmured, sitting on the bench where she'd first met David. "Maybe he'll come later, sweetheart. Or maybe he's gone forever, like Daddy." The comparison stung Jennifer. Emma was linking David's disappearance to her father's abandonment. "Emma, David didn't leave like your dad. He's probably working or taking care of his own life. But if he were really our friend, he'd come see us." Jennifer didn't know how to respond. How could she explain the complexities of adult relationships and misunderstandings to a 7-year-old? They stayed at the park until noon, but David never showed. On the way back, Emma was completely dejected. "Mom, can I ask you something?" "Of course, sweetheart." "Why were you mad at Uncle David?" Jennifer stopped walking. It was a conversation she'd been avoiding, but she realized she couldn't run from it forever. I was scared, Emma. Scared of him? Scared he might hurt you. But he wouldn't have hurt me. He was nice to me. I know that now, but at the time I didn't. And sometimes when we're scared, we do the wrong things. Emma thought for a moment. Can you say sorry to him? I'd really like to, sweetheart, but I don't know where he is. Then let's find him. The determination in Emma's voice surprised Jennifer. How would we do that, Emma? You're a lawyer. You know how to find people. Jennifer laughed despite the situation. It doesn't quite work like that, sweetheart. But you can try, right? Jennifer looked at her daughter's hopeful little face and felt her heart tighten. I can try. That night, after Emma fell asleep, Jennifer turned on her computer. She had no idea how to search for David Johnson in a city the size of Boston. It was far too common a name. She tried social media, job sites, even Google searches. Nothing. David Johnson could be any one of the thousands of men with that name in the city. Frustrated, she closed the computer. Maybe it was better to leave things as they were. After all, David was a stranger. There was no point getting more involved in his life. But on Monday morning, Emma refused to go to school. I don't want to go. Why not, sweetheart? I'm sad. Sad about what? About Uncle David. I wanted him to know I haven't forgotten him. Jennifer felt a pang in her heart. Emma was clearly depressed, and it was her fault. All right, you can stay home today. But tomorrow you have to go. Deal? Deal. Jennifer called the office and said she'd work from home. She spent the morning trying to distract Emma, but nothing worked. The girl was listless, uninterested in anything. It was during lunch that Jennifer had an idea. Emma, how about we go back to the park this afternoon? But Uncle David won't be there. Maybe not, but we can talk to people who know him. Maybe someone knows where he is? Emma's eyes lit up for the first time in days. Really, Mom? Really? That afternoon, they returned to the park. Jennifer approached vendors, maintenance workers, other regulars. Many knew David, but no one knew where he was staying. He really vanished, said an elderly man who played chess in the park every day. Haven't seen him in a week. He used to chat with me about football. Do you have any idea where he might be? I know he was in a tough spot. Mentioned once he'd have to leave the room he rented because he couldn't afford it. Maybe he went to stay with relatives. Emma tugged on her mother's sleeve. Mum, does that mean Uncle David is living on the street? The old man sighed. I don't know, little one, I hope not. Jennifer felt a knot in her stomach. The possibility of David being homeless because of money troubles deeply unsettled her. Emma, let's go home. But Mom, come on, it's getting late. On the way back, Emma was quiet, but Jennifer could see her mind working. Mom? Yes? If Uncle David is living on the street, he must be hungry. Maybe, sweetheart. Can we bring him food? First, we have to find him. And how do we do that? Jennifer had no answer. She was a successful lawyer, used to solving complex problems, but she felt completely lost in this situation. That night, she couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about David, his kindness toward Emma, how unfairly she'd judged him, and now he'd disappeared, possibly in an even worse situation. The next morning, while taking Emma to school, they passed through downtown. At a stoplight, Jennifer saw a man selling water to cars. He wore simple clothes and had a tired expression. It wasn't David, but the sight made her think. How many people like David were there in the city, struggling to survive while she lived comfortably in her mansion? Mom, why is that man selling water on the street? Because he needs to make money, sweetheart. Like Uncle David? Maybe. Emma stayed quiet the rest of the way to school. Jennifer dropped her off at the entrance and went to the office, but she couldn't focus on work. During lunch, she decided to take a walk around downtown. She didn't quite know why, but she felt she needed to see up close the reality David was living. She parked the car at a shopping mall and walked out onto the streets. She saw homeless people, street vendors, informal workers. It was a world that had always existed beside her, but one she had completely ignored. Miss, would you like to buy some gum? Jennifer turned and saw a middle-aged woman holding a box of gum. No, thank you. Just $1, miss. Help a working woman out. Jennifer stopped. There was something in the woman's dignity that touched her. "I'll take 2 packs. Thank you, dear. God bless you." Jennifer kept walking, observing the people around her. It was when she turned a corner that she saw him. David was on the other side of the street, unloading boxes from a truck into a store. His clothes were even more worn out, and he looked thinner. Jennifer's heart raced. She quickly crossed the street. "David!" He lifted his head and saw her. For a moment he froze. "Mrs. Jennifer." "David, it's so good to see you. I've been looking for you." "Looking for me?" He seemed genuinely surprised. "Yes, Emma missed you." David set the box down and wiped the sweat from his forehead with his sleeve. "How is she?" "She's fine, but she was sad when you disappeared from the park." "I didn't disappear, it's just—" David hesitated. "My situation got a little complicated. I don't have time to go to the park anymore." "Can I ask what happened?" David glanced around, noticing other workers watching their conversation. "Ma'am, I need to finish up here. The boss doesn't like it when we stop to talk." "Of course, I'm sorry, but can we talk later?" "Emma would really love to see you." David seemed to struggle with himself. "I don't know if that's a good idea. Please, just a few minutes. She's been so sad." The mention of Emma's sadness touched David. "All right, I finish here at 5. I can meet you at the park." "Perfect, we'll be there." Jennifer walked away, feeling a mix of relief and anxiety. She had found David, but she could tell something was wrong. He seemed more downcast, more defeated. At 5 sharp, Jennifer and Emma were at the park. Emma had been overjoyed when she heard she'd see David again. "Mom, I think I see him." David was walking slowly toward them. Emma ran and hugged him. "Uncle David, I missed you so much." "I missed you too, little one." Jennifer approached and noticed David was indeed thinner. There were deep circles under his eyes. "David, how are you?" "I'm fine, Mrs. Jennifer. And you?" "We want you to tell us what's going on," Jennifer said directly. David sighed and sat on the bench. Emma settled beside him. "There's not much to tell. I lost the room I was renting. I'm doing odd jobs to make some money." "Where are you sleeping?" David hesitated. "Here and there." "David, are you living on the streets?" "It's not forever. Just until I save enough to rent another place." Emma looked at him with concern. "Uncle David, are you eating okay?" The innocent question made David smile sadly. "I am, little one. Don't worry about that." But Jennifer could see he was lying. David was clearly malnourished. "David, I want to make you an offer." "What kind of offer?" "I need a driver, someone trustworthy to take Emma to school and help me with some errands. Would you be interested?" David looked at her skeptically. "Mrs. Jennifer, I appreciate the offer, but I don't need charity." "It's not charity, it's a job, with a fair wage and benefits. I'm a mechanic, not a driver. But do you have a license?" "I do." "Then you can learn. And who knows, if things go well, maybe you can open your own garage someday." David was silent for a long moment. Emma squeezed his hand. "Please, Uncle David. That way you can stay close to us." "Emma, let David think." "Mrs. Jennifer, why are you doing this?" The question caught Jennifer off guard. Because I misjudged you. And because my daughter cares about you. And because you seem like a good person in a tough situation." "But what if people say you hired someone who was homeless?" "People always talk. What matters is what I believe is right." David looked at Emma, who watched him hopefully. "What would the salary be?" Jennifer mentioned a figure that made David's eyes widen. "That's more than I made at the garage." "Do you accept?" David took a deep breath. "I accept, but on one condition." "What?" "If at any point you feel it's not working out, you can let me go without any issues. No drama, no complications. Deal." Emma jumped for joy. "Now Uncle David will stay with us forever." David smiled, but Jennifer noticed a shadow of worry in his eyes. "Emma, forever is a long time. Let's take things one day at a time." His response showed Jennifer he had learned not to trust promises, and she wondered how many disappointments he had faced in life. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like the video and especially to subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now, continuing, in the first few days, the tension in the Williams home was palpable. Jennifer had set David up in a small service apartment at the back of the property, but he refused new furniture or anything he considered too much. "David, you need a decent bed," Jennifer argued. "The one here is fine, Mrs. Jennifer. I've slept in much worse places." His answer left a lump in her throat. She was beginning to realize David had endured far more hardship than she'd imagined. Emma, on the other hand, was overjoyed. She woke up every day excited to see David, who took her to school with endless patience, listening to her stories and answering her countless questions. "Uncle David, how do you know so much about cars?" "Because I spent many years fixing them, kiddo." "And why don't you work with them anymore?" "Sometimes things change in life, but not forever." Jennifer watched their interactions in the rearview mirror, struck by how naturally David connected with children. He was never impatient, never sharp, always finding a way to explain things so Emma could understand. "Mom, can Uncle David have dinner with us tonight?" "Emma, David is working. He has his own place here. But he's always alone there. Doesn't he get sad?" The question made Jennifer pause. David did spend his evenings alone in the service apartment. Sometimes she saw him sitting on the small porch, gazing at the stars. One Thursday evening, she knocked on his door. "David, may I come in?" "Of course, Mrs. Jennifer." The apartment was spotless and orderly. David had made sure not to touch anything beyond the essentials. "Would you join us for dinner?" "I appreciate it, but it's not necessary." "It's not about necessity. Emma would love it. And so would I." David looked surprised. "You would?" "David, you're not just an employee here. Jennifer hesitated. "You've become important to my daughter, and that makes you important to me." "Mrs. Jennifer, I don't want to complicate your lives." "You're not complicating, you're helping." That night, David had dinner with them for the first time. Emma chattered non-stop about school, asked about his past, and made plans for the weekend. "Uncle David, do you want to go to the mall with us on Saturday?" David glanced at Jennifer, seeking guidance. "Only if your mother thinks it's okay." "I think it would be nice," said Jennifer. "Emma needs to buy new sneakers." During dessert, Emma asked the question Jennifer had been avoiding. "Uncle David, do you have any kids?" David stopped eating and stayed quiet for a moment. "I have a daughter." "How old is she?" 8. "A little older than you." "What's her name?" "Olivia Grace." "Where is she?" David looked at Jennifer, clearly uncomfortable. "She lives in another city with her mother." "Do you miss her?" "A lot." "Why don't you visit her?" Emma's direct question visibly moved David. "Sometimes it's complicated, sweetheart." Jennifer sensed there was a painful story behind David's separation from his daughter. She quickly changed the subject. "Emma, why don't you show David your drawings?" After Emma went to get her drawings, Jennifer and David were left alone. "You don't have to talk about your daughter if you don't want to. It really is complicated." "Does your ex-wife not let you see her?" David took a deep breath. "My ex-wife. She married another man when I was in prison." The revelation shocked Jennifer. "You were in prison?" "For 2 years, for something I didn't do." Jennifer felt her blood run cold. "What didn't you do?" "I'll tell you the whole story someday, but the truth is, when I got out, Olivia Grace was calling another man Dad, and my ex said it would be better if I stayed away so I wouldn't confuse her." "David, that's awful." "Since then, I only see her a few times a year, when I can save up for the trip." "How long has it been since you last saw her?" 8 months. Jennifer's heart ached. David had been away from his own daughter for 8 months because he couldn't afford to visit. "David, with the salary I'm paying you, you can visit her whenever you want." "Mrs. Jennifer, I can't spend money like that. I need to save up to rent my own place and, David, family is more important than anything else. At that moment, Emma returned with a stack of drawings. Look, Uncle David, this one is you fixing my roller skate. The drawing showed a man in a cap, kneeling beside a little girl. It was touching in its simplicity. It's very nice, Emma. You can take it to show your daughter. David looked at the drawing with emotion. She'd really like this. Then take it, and ask her to draw one for me too. Emma's innocent generosity brought tears to David's eyes. Emma, how about we get ready for bed? Jennifer interjected. You have school tomorrow. After Emma went to her room, Jennifer returned to the living room, where David was still looking at the drawing. David, I want you to take a weekend to visit your daughter. Mrs. Jennifer, it's not up for discussion, it's an order. You'll go, you'll spend real time with her, and you'll bring her here to stay for a while too. I can't bring her here. That would be taking advantage of your kindness. David, this house is too big for just 2 people, and Emma would love having a friend to play with. Olivia Grace's mother would never allow it. Leave that to me. I'm a lawyer, remember? I can talk to her about paternal rights. David looked at her with a mix of hope and fear. You'd do that for me? I'd do it for you and for Emma. She loves having you here. Imagine how happy she'd be with a friend her age. That night, Jennifer went to bed thinking about how life had taken unexpected turns. Just a few weeks ago, David had been a stranger she'd judged as a threat. Now she was planning to reunite his family. The next day, on the way to school, Emma was unusually chatty. Mum, can I ask you something? Of course, sweetheart. Do you like Uncle David? The question caught Jennifer off guard. What do you mean, Emma? Do you like him as a person? Yes, I do. He's a good person. He likes you too. How do you know? Because he smiles when he talks to you. And yesterday I saw him helping Mrs. Jenkins with the groceries even without you asking. Jennifer looked in the rearview mirror and saw David driving attentively, occasionally smiling at one of Emma's comments. It was true, he had naturally integrated into the household's routine, not just as a driver, but as someone who genuinely cared about everyone's well-being. Emma, are you happy with Uncle David here? I am. It's like having a dad who won't leave. The comment made Jennifer swallow hard. Emma had put into words something she herself was starting to feel. For the first time since the divorce, there was a stable, positive male presence in their lives. That afternoon, when David returned from picking up Emma at school, Jennifer called him over to talk. David, I called a friend of mine, a family law attorney. She said I can help you establish a formal visitation arrangement with your daughter. Won't that cause problems with my ex-wife? It might, but you have rights that need to be respected. And Olivia Grace has the right to spend time with her father. David was quiet for a moment. Mrs. Jennifer, can I ask you a personal question? Go ahead. Why are you doing all this for me? Jennifer hesitated. It was a question she'd been asking herself. Because you're taking care of my family as if they were your own, and I think I should do the same for yours. But what if things don't work out? What if my ex-wife causes trouble? What if Olivia Grace doesn't want to see me anymore? David, not everything in life comes with a guarantee, but some things are worth the risk. What if I disappear from your lives like Emma's father did? The question was direct and painful. Are you going to disappear? No, not if it's up to me. Then let's not worry about that now. That night after dinner, David surprised everyone. Mrs. Jennifer Emma, I'd like to tell you the full story of what happened to me. Jennifer settled into her chair and Emma put down her toys to listen. 3 years ago, I worked at a big auto shop. I was a supervisor. One day, I found out the owner was selling stolen parts mixed with legal ones. What did you do? Emma asked. I reported it to the police. I thought I was doing the right thing. And you were, Jennifer said. The problem was the shop owner had a lot of connections. He managed to plant false evidence that framed me, said I was the real thief. And you went to jail for that? I did. 2 years in prison. My wife couldn't handle the social pressure, the prejudice, the financial struggle. She left me and married a co-worker. Emma looked confused. But if you didn't do anything wrong, why were you in jail? Because sometimes, sweetheart, The truth takes a while to come out. Did it come out? It did. A former employee confessed everything before he died. I was cleared, but it was too late. Jennifer felt her throat tighten. David, I'm so sorry. The worst part wasn't the prison. It was losing my daughter. When I got out, she barely recognized me. And now? Now she has a new father, a new life. I'm just an occasional visitor. Emma stood up and hugged David. Uncle David, can you be my new dad? David hugged her back, his eyes filled with tears. Emma, you already have a wonderful mother. I can be your special friend. But I want you to be family. Jennifer's heart raced. Emma's spontaneity had put into words something she herself was starting to feel but hadn't dared to admit. Emma, family isn't just about blood, Jennifer said softly. Family is who we choose to love and care for. David looked at her in surprise. Mrs. Jennifer. David, you're already part of our family. It may not be official, but you are. That night after Emma had gone to bed, Jennifer and David stayed up late, talking in the living room. Jennifer, he said, using her first name without Mrs. for the first time, I never expected my life to take this turn. Neither did I. A few weeks ago I saw you as a threat. Now I can't imagine our life without you. David moved closer to her on the couch. Jennifer, I don't want you to feel obligated because of the situation you found me in. I don't feel obligated, I feel, she hesitated, I feel safe, for the first time in a long time. Even knowing about my past, the prison time, especially knowing that, because I know you chose to do the right thing, even when it could cost you dearly. David took her hand. Jennifer, you don't have to say anything now. Let's let things happen naturally. What if my ex-wife causes trouble when I go to pick up Olivia Grace? We'll face it together. The we sounded natural to both of them. They were truly becoming a team, a family. The next morning, David woke up determined. During breakfast, he made an announcement. Emma, Jennifer, next weekend I'm going to meet my daughter. Really? Emma was excited. Can I come too? David looked at Jennifer. If your mom says yes, I'd love for you to meet Olivia Grace. Mom, please, Jennifer smiled. I think it would be good for you two to meet. What about you, Jennifer? Will you come with us? David's question surprised her. You want me to go? I do. I think it'll be easier for everyone if you're there. Then let's all go together. Emma clapped her hands in joy. It'll be like a family trip. David and Jennifer exchanged glances. The idea of being a family was becoming more real for all of them. The trip was set for the following Saturday. All week, Emma talked of nothing else. Uncle David, what's Olivia Grace like? She's a lot like you. She likes drawing, playing with dolls. Will she like me? I'm sure she will. What if she doesn't? Emma, don't worry about that. Just be yourself, and everything will be fine. On Friday evening, David was visibly nervous. During dinner, he barely touched his food. David, are you okay? Jennifer asked. I'm nervous. It's been so long since I've seen Olivia Grace. She's your daughter. The love between you hasn't changed. What if she doesn't recognize me? What if she doesn't want to come with us? Emma put down her fork. Uncle David, can I tell you a secret? Go ahead. When my dad left, I was so scared that all men would leave too, but you stayed, and that made me feel better. David was moved. Emma, you're a very special girl. Then your daughter will see that you're special too, and she'll be happy. Emma's innocent wisdom calmed David. He smiled for the first time that night. You're right, everything will be fine. On Saturday morning, they left early for the trip. Olivia Grace lived in a town 3 hours away. During the drive, Emma asked 1,000 questions about her new friend. Does she like skating? I don't know, it's been so long since we talked about things like that. I can teach her. Of course you can. Jennifer watched David in the rearview mirror. He was tense but determined. She admired his courage to face such a delicate situation. When they arrived in town, David drove to a middle-class neighborhood. He stopped in front of a modest but well-kept house. "This is it," he said, taking a deep breath. "Do you want me to come with you?" Jennifer offered. "I think it's better if I go alone first, to talk to my ex-wife." David got out of the car and walked to the door. Jennifer and Emma watched through the window. A woman around 30 years old opened the door. She seemed surprised to see David. They talked for a few minutes, and Jennifer could tell the conversation was tense. Then a little girl appeared at the door. It was Olivia Grace. She really did look like Emma, with brown hair and big eyes. The girl hesitated for a moment, then ran to hug David. Jennifer felt her eyes fill with tears as she watched the reunion. After a few more minutes of conversation, David waved to them. Jennifer and Emma got out of the car. "Olivia Grace, these are Jennifer and Emma, the ones I told you about." The girl greeted them shyly. "Hi." "Hi, Olivia Grace." Emma got straight to the point. "Want to be my friend?" Olivia Grace smiled. "I do." "Great. I brought some toys for us to play with." The two girls quickly hit it off. Jennifer took the opportunity to talk to David's ex-wife. "I'm Jennifer, a lawyer and David's friend. Nicole, Olivia Grace's mother." "Nicole, can I speak with you privately?" They stepped away from the children. "Nicole, I'd like to talk about David's visitation rights. He mentioned you're a lawyer. I am, and I think it would be good for everyone to establish a formal visitation schedule. I don't want to cause trouble. It's not about causing trouble. It's about making sure Olivia Grace gets to see her father regularly." Nicole sighed. "You know he was in jail." "I do, and I know he was cleared. David is an honest man who was a victim of injustice. But my current husband..." "Nicole, with all due respect, your current husband isn't Olivia Grace's father. David is." Nicole looked over at David playing with the two girls. She really missed him when he was in jail. And now she can have her father back in her life. But I'm afraid it'll confuse her. Olivia Grace is smart. She can understand that she can love two families. After a long talk, Nicole agreed that Olivia Grace could spend Sunday with them and return home that evening. It was a small but important step. "Olivia Grace," David called, "how about we go to lunch and then you show us around the city?" "Really?" "Yes. Your mum said it's okay." The joy on the girl's face was contagious. During lunch, the two girls chatted excitedly. Olivia Grace talked about school, her friends, and games. Emma talked about roller skates, about David living with them, and how kind he was. "Uncle David lives at your house?" Olivia Grace asked. "Yes. He takes us to school and has dinner with us." Olivia Grace looked at her father curiously. "Dad, do you like living there?" "I really do. Jennifer and Emma are very special." "And they like you?" "I think so." "I like him," Emma said. "He's like a dad to me." Olivia Grace was quiet for a moment. "Dad, you're not going to leave me again, right?" The question broke David's heart. "Sweetheart, I never left you. I was kept from being with you. But now, I'll visit you as often as I can." "Promise?" "I promise. And can I visit you too?" "And..." David looked at Jennifer, who nodded. "Of course, whenever your mum says it's okay." That afternoon, they walked around the city. Olivia Grace showed them her school, the park where she played, her favorite spots. It was clear how happy she was to have her father back. "Dad, can I ask you something?" "Of course, Dad. Are you going to marry Aunt Jennifer?" The question took everyone by surprise. Jennifer turned red, and David stammered. "Olivia Grace, why do you ask that?" "Because you look at each other the way my mom and stepdad did before they got married." Emma perked up. "It'd be so cool if they got married. Then we'd really be sisters." "Emma?" Jennifer tried to change the subject. "What? Wouldn't it be cool, Mom?" David laughed at the situation. "Girls, you're getting way ahead of yourselves. First, let's be friends, then we'll see what happens." "But you're already friends," insisted Olivia Grace. "Then let's be special friends," said Jennifer, smiling. By late afternoon, the difficult moment arrived to take Olivia Grace back home. The girl was visibly sad. "Dad, when will I see you again?" "Next weekend, if your mom allows it." "And when will you two come back?" "Whenever you want to see us," said Jennifer. At the front door, Olivia Grace hugged everyone tightly. "Dad, thank you for the best day of my life. Thank you for giving me a chance, sweetheart. Emma, you're the best friend I've ever had. You too. I'll make drawings for you during the week." On the drive back, David was radiant. "Jennifer, thank you so much. Without you, none of this would have happened. David, you deserve to have your daughter back in your life. And you too deserve to have a man who takes care of you." Emma, who was sleeping in the back seat, murmured, "When I grow up, I want a family just like ours." Jennifer and David looked at each other and smiled. They had truly become a family. In the following weeks, their routine settled naturally. David visited Olivia Grace every weekend, sometimes bringing Emma, sometimes going alone. The bond between father and daughter grew stronger with each meeting. At home, David had become more than an employee. He participated in decisions about Emma, helped with household chores, and fixed small repairs. It was as if he had always been part of the family. "David," Jennifer said one night after Emma had fallen asleep, "I have a proposal for you." "What kind of proposal?" "How about we open a repair shop together? Jennifer, you don't know anything about mechanics, but I know business, and you know cars. We could be partners." David fell silent, processing the idea. "That would be a dream come true, but I don't have money to invest." "I do, and you have the skills. It's a fair partnership. What if it doesn't work out?" "What if it does?" David smiled. "You always answer a question with a question. I learned that in law school, so do you accept?" "I do, but as equal partners." 50-50. Deal. They shook hands, sealing not just a business partnership, but the start of a new chapter in their lives. 3 months later, the Johnson & Williams repair shop was in full swing. David had hired 2 mechanics and was teaching underprivileged kids from the neighborhood. Jennifer handled the administrative and legal side. Emma spent afternoons at the shop, doing homework in the makeshift office and helping David with small tasks. Olivia Grace also started coming by on weekends, and the 2 girls became inseparable. "Dad, can I learn how to work on cars too?" "Of course, sweetheart. But first, finish your schoolwork." The shop became a community hub. David fixed kids' bikes for free, taught basic mechanics to anyone who wanted to learn, and always had a kind word for those in need. "David," Jennifer said one day, "have you noticed you've become something of a community leader here? I just do what I can to help. That's exactly what makes you special." That evening, after an especially busy day at the shop, they sat on the porch, watching Emma and Olivia Grace play in the yard. "Jennifer, can I ask you something?" "Always." "Are you happy?" "Very. Happier than I've been in years." "And you?" "Me too. Sometimes I'm afraid it's too good to last." "David, you deserve all the happiness in the world. We deserve it." Jennifer moved closer to him on the porch swing. "David, You what?" "I've fallen in love with you." David stayed quiet for a moment, then smiled. "Good, because I've fallen in love with you too." They kissed while the girls played in the garden, oblivious to the adults' romantic moment. "Daddy! Mommy!" Emma suddenly shouted. "You're kissing!" David and Jennifer pulled apart, laughing. "Emma, come here," Jennifer called. "Olivia Grace too." The 2 girls ran to the porch. "Girls, we have something to tell you," David said. "Are you getting married?" Olivia Grace asked hopefully. "Well, we really care for each other. How would you feel if we did get married?" Emma jumped for joy. "It would be the best day of my life." "Mine too," Olivia Grace agreed. "Then I'd have 2 families, one here and one with Mommy." "And you 2 would be real sisters," Jennifer added. "We're already sisters in our hearts," Emma said, hugging Olivia Grace. 6 months later, David and Jennifer married in a simple ceremony at the workshop, surrounded by friends, family, and the entire community they had helped build. Emma was the flower girl, Olivia Grace scattered petals, and both declared it the most beautiful wedding they'd ever seen. "Now you're officially my family," Olivia Grace said during the celebration. "We always were," David replied, hugging both girls. "We just made it official." The workshop continued to grow, becoming a technical school that trained young mechanics, and gave opportunities to those who needed them most. David never forgot his own struggles and made sure to help others facing similar hardships. Jennifer shifted her focus to cases of social injustice and workers' rights. Together, they became pillars of their community, a couple who made a difference. And it had all started with a broken skate, a crying child, and a kind man who decided to help, never knowing that simple act would change his life forever. 5 years later, David stood in the same park where it all began, now accompanied by Emma, who was teaching other children to skate. Olivia Grace, spending the summer with them, helped the younger ones. "Dad, remember when Emma cried here over her broken skate?" Like it was yesterday. Who knew that day would change our whole lives? "Yeah, sweetheart. Sometimes the best things happen when we least expect them." Jennifer joined them, cradling a baby just a few months old. "How's our little Ethan doing?" "Sleeping like an angel," she replied, handing the baby to David. Emma stopped skating and ran over. "Mom, can I teach Ethan to skate when he's older?" "Of course, you'll be the big sister." "Me too," Olivia Grace said. "I'll teach him to draw." David looked at his family, Jennifer, Emma, Olivia Grace, and now little Ethan, and felt deep gratitude for every path that had led them there. "You know what?" he said, kissing the baby's forehead. "I think Ethan might like mechanics too." "What if he wants to be a lawyer like Mom?" Emma asked. "Or a skater," Olivia Grace suggested, laughing. "Either way," Jennifer said, gathering the children close, "what matters is he grows up knowing he can count on all of us." "Forever," David agreed. "Forever," the girls echoed in unison. As the sun set over the park where it all began, the Johnson-Williams family walked home, knowing they'd found what so many spend a lifetime searching for, a true, unconditional love, built on trust, respect, and the willingness to always do what's right. The end. So what did you think of this heartwarming story? Did David and Jennifer truly find love through a simple act of kindness? Let us know in the comments which part moved you most and whether you believe small gestures can change entire lives. Don't forget to leave your like and subscribe to the channel for more heartwarming stories.